Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 Builder Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 89 and it's just a single header on the pitch. We've got a lot to get through off it, which we'll talk about in a moment, but the game on it is massive. We face Legia Warsaw in a Europa League group that is getting very tight across the board. We want to try and get through to the last 32 again, maybe even the last 16 if we can nick the group. And after a poor start on the opening day, we have bounced back in style. And now we've got a real chance to finish top of the pile. After the pre-season disappointment of not qualifying for the Champions League group stages, the money's gone, but the coefficient chance has not. So that is our priority today. We'll also take you through the Welsh transfer window off the pitch from the summer, which we had to delay in the last one because of course the games took so long that the episode was getting too long. So we had to delay that a little bit. And we've got a new director of football as well. A familiar name, an interesting one, and sure to spark a bit of a reaction. So if you're looking forward to all of that and you are enjoying the series, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content from two long-term stories. There's links to all the new stuff and other playlists in the eye above, including the end of the Welsh experiment at the weekend. And there's a link to the Twitch channel in the description below. A massive thank you for your help in reaching affiliate. It really is greatly appreciated. But let's talk a little bit today about Bangor City off the pitch. We've got through a fair few games off camera, and then just before this one, on Tuesday, we got the worst possible injury news. You may have noticed it in the top bit of the screen there, but it's Greg Pringle who picks up an injury. The one man we can't afford to have out for a big Europa League game, and we're going to see how much of a difference it makes. We've also got a new manager at Sheffield United in Michael O'Neill, who's complaining about Ian Brooks being outside the main position. And he's playing there all the time. The only thing he did was have one sub appearance up front, or one appearance where he moved to up front for the last half an hour. Aside from that, he has played centre mid as a box-to-box midfielder every single time. And we're getting these massive complaints about where he's playing. I don't really understand it. So I've tried to tell him that. I've tried to tell him that he's not going to play there again. And we have to remember now, if we need an auxiliary striker for 10 minutes in one game, don't let it be Ian Brooks. Just play someone else out of position. But before we get on to all the other stuff off the pitch, let's start with the schedule and the results. Because of course, they're our bread and butter. If that doesn't work out, nothing else matters. You're with me as we beat Sarajevo just away from home in Bosnia in the Europa League and TNS quite comfortably in the Welsh Premier League. Since then, one disappointment as you can see. And it's a side who featured heavily in that experiment. Maybe they're starting to rise here as well. But before that, we beat Colwyn Bay 4-1, and Max Dean hat-trick finished at the penalty spot, and Tom Jones, the youngster, got one as well. A 4-0 win at home to TNS in the SPFL Trust Trophy. Another red card, Rodri Dorian, who gave away a penalty on camera last time, and Pringle and Duffy getting a brace apiece for us. A 1-0 defeat at home to Airbus UK in the Welsh Premier League. I've got to show you this match, because in terms of the stats, astonishing. One shot, one on target, one goal. 0.08 expected goals, 29% possession. One corner, they fouled their way out of the match. And we somehow didn't make 19 shots on 12 on target count. Don't quite know how. So not a poor performance. That's the one thing that would worry us. We backed it up though with 3 convincing wins and clean sheets. A 4-0 away win at today's opponents Legia Warsaw. A brilliant late display there. We were pretty on top for an hour, although dominated possession, didn't have loads of great chances. But then Legia chased the win, and it's the best thing that could have happened to us. Ian Brooks, Elliot Andrew off the bench, Keegan Riley and young Tom Jones with the goals. A 4-0 win, big for the goal difference, big for the head-to-head record, and potentially big for getting top spot. A 5-0 win after that against Cardiff Met Uni, Pringle, Duffy, Brooks, Jones and Lloyd with the goals there. A 3-0 win in the quarter-final of the League Cup, Duffy with 2 and Pringle with 1 as well. And that is one of our goals for this season. Let's try and wrap up every domestic trophy. Not throw away the League Cup, not throw away the Welsh Cup, whatever it is each season. Let's make sure we win everything here. And then a 7-2 win against Newtown last time. 5-0 up at half-time, and Elliot Andrew hat-trick early on. Daniel Williams and Dean got 1 each in the first half. They added another in the second. But as we came out from the break, Mike Jones from the corners has got a 16 jumping reach and was remarkable. Scored 2 goals, brilliant bullet headers. And in the end, we ended up getting a bit worried and had to make a couple of changes. But still a comfortable win, a good result. And we're in a really good position at the moment. We've of course got Queen's Park in the quarter-final of the SPFL Trust Trophy. They're really developing in his safe. They're a good side, managed by Mickey Mellon. And if we look at their key player, it's going to be difficult to keep players like that out, particularly with our weakness in the air defensively. In terms of the Europa League, we follow up against Club Brugge and Sarajevo after this one. How important they'll be will depend partly on today's game. So we'll go and get into that in a moment. But firstly, a new director of football. Amari Morgan-Smith did a great job for us. We knew that very much. But we did talk about the fact that for our head of youth development, in terms of a working team behind the scenes, we wanted to improve slightly. Whether you'll consider this an improvement based on real life performance recently, I don't know. But there's no doubting that this Welshman knows his football. And that man, just towards the bottom of the screen here behind my head, let me move him up, is Kenny Jackett. The former Portsmouth manager had more successful spells earlier on in his career, the likes of Wolves most notably, of course. He's also, in this save, been manager of Sunderland, QPR, chief scout at Bolton and scout at Southampton. He now comes over to Wales, probably a retirement party for him. But look at his attributes. 13 ability, 13 potential, 13 negotiating. Good tactically, knows what we want, which is important. He's also a decent coach if you need work on that side. And perhaps above all, professional personality. I am sick of players coming for our youth intake with an unambitious or an unprofessional or a fickle personality. We've now got a professional personality as our director of football, a bigger reputation as well, which probably helps. And if we go back to our head of youth development, Sammy Klingon, he's fairly determined. So between them, we've got to have a real good mentality. We've got a mix of generations, a mix of background and experience, and two very good personalities in different areas. So I'm hoping together they'll become superstars and help us get real better youth intakes through. We'll find that out in the next episode or two, of course. But let's go and get into the big game today. It is Legia Warsaw in the Europa League. No big players missing through suspension or anything like that, although Archie Woods will miss the league game with suspension. But the two players out injured, Ben Cottrell with that long-term hip injury, he's now fallen behind Tom Jones. Not far off going behind Carl Lacey as well. And Greg Pringle, that's going to be the big miss. It's whether we can find a replacement. Although, based on the form of the backup strikers at the weekend, might be easier than we thought. The dynamics are perfect. The team cohesion is great. The club atmosphere is sensational, the managerial support the same. But that doesn't mean anything when it comes to Legia Warsaw. A big side from Poland, a reputable name, some quality players in there as well. If we go and have a look at the standard of them, the star man at the moment is this guy. Janus, the centre-half, is brilliant. I mean, he's marked as a left winger, but can play anywhere else as well. His attributes are stunning. How on earth do you compete with a team like that? He's only just turned 18 and is already brilliant. I've got a feeling I might want to scout him after this game. Lucas Beja is playing at centre-half as well. He's someone we know from our Torquay save in FM19. He became a massive hero for us there. He's a former United youth prospect, has played at Kilmarnock here in this save as well. And he's now a really experienced international defender. And then the goalkeeper was one who has been a star as well. Brilliant player, wonderful attributes and experienced at 25. They really are a very good side. Even at the other end of the scale, the likes of Alfred Duncan at 36, nothing physically, sensational across the rest of the board. There are other important players, just to give you an idea. Marek Beka, solid midfielder, good athlete, a good striker, a quality player in Mekal Dek as well. A good international striker at 19 years of age, scoring 1 in 3 for them. It's going to be a difficult challenge this. So let's go and get into it. Let's go and pick our 11. And let's try and find a replacement for Greg Pringle. We'll be back in a moment to run you through the team. So despite resting everybody at the weekend, they've nearly all got a heavy match load. And we rested all of them. Even off the bench, we used like Sean Banks and Keon Burgess, the ones who wouldn't normally play. Cole Lacey was the final sub. So none of these played at the weekend, yet they're still all absolutely shattered. Apart from Max Dean, who was the only one who did. So looking at the fixture schedule, I mean, none of these boys have played for what? 8 days to Bala. It's a very strange outlook, actually. I'm not sure why they're all so shattered. But either way, it's the strongest possible team. And if you take out Greg Pringle, it's the strongest 11 at the club. So George Wickens will start in goal. We've got Keegan Riley and Yesten Weaver, the ever-dependable fullbacks. Boys and Price combine at centre-half. Building a decent partnership in there now and looking good defensively. Lloyd, Broom, Brooks and Jones the midfield 4. Chris Broom's really starting to come on. We predicted he'd improve and he is doing just that. Harvey Lloyd continuing now he's returned from injury. And then up front, it's Dean and Duffy. Back to the tried and trusted. We haven't got Greg Pringle, so let's go back to what we had before. Arguably, Andrew's had a better season than Max Dean. And there's no argument about it really, he has. But at the weekend, Max Dean was man of the match, he was brilliant. And today, we need him to roll back the years. So into the game we go, it is Bangor City v Legia Warsaw. And a win puts us right in control of this group. Can we get it? We've had good off the pitch news. Now we need some good news on it. This is a massive game for this football club. Let's see if we can go and win it. So all of those big names are in this Legia Warsaw side. We know it's going to be a difficult match. Dex, the skipper up front, we know he's a quality player. And they've got loads of experience. They've got loads of young quality. They've got a bit of everything. But have they got enough to beat us? They had an off day when they tried to chase the game. Their manager tactically probably cost them in the last one. But can we get back at them here? They've matched us up with a narrow diamond. Let's see how it pans out, shall we? Well, probably not the 15 minutes we were hoping for. No highlights, no attacks. But we're back on the left-hand side in a very advanced position here. Duffy and Brooks in a triangle with Weaver. Here he is, left side of the box. Flashing effort first time, just over the bar. It was very close to being a wonderful goal. As it is, though, we're dominating the stats. But with Greg Pringle, can we take those chances? Without Ben Cottrell, can we unlock that defence? I don't know. They're the questions where it goes wrong. And it's a Legia Warsaw corner. Half an hour on the clock. Bedger heads in. The keeper gets a hand to it. George Wickens. He can't quite do enough. And after half an hour of utter dominance for Bangor City, we fall behind to the first shot we face. And this is where the problems come in this group. As it stands, we're now dropping down to third. We're going to demand more. We're going to try and get the lads on the front foot. But look at the morale at the bottom. Look at the way the confidence has sapped out of them. This is problematic. We are so unfortunate on the balance of play. But if you can't defend set pieces, you're not going to win many football matches. I'm going to change the strikers back to the duties they used to play. Our assistant actually says they're weaker as this combination. This is how they succeeded for so many years. So let's go and get into the second half. And if we can perform the same way, surely we'll get at least a point out of this. As we're 5 gone in a second, we're playing out from the back with George Wickens. He gives it to Price and wide to Keegan Riley. Comes forward down the right-hand side. He's got time on the ball. He's going for the overlap, is he? No, just taking on the fullback. Gets it back to Broom, but it's behind him. It delays the attack. And there we lost the ball to the slide challenge, but Broom wins it again. Riley finds Lloyd, out to Broom, overlapping on that right side. Can we get the ball in? Broom goes back to Riley, delivers low. Tom Jones there. Blocked and cleared away by the defender. And now it's a 3-on-3. Harvey Lloyd gives away the foul. Got to be a yellow card. He's got away with murder there. But it's still 1-0 to Legia, and that's all that matters to them. A terrible performance from the visitors. But they're winning the match. Let's go and make some changes and see if we can do something about it. Broom has not had the best game. He's going to be replaced by the experience and the focus of Daniel Williams. Elliot Andrew will replace Max Dean, who's had an average one. Otherwise, I don't know what we can do. Morgan Boy's on a yellow. Let's bring Badebo on. Just prevent playing with 10 men. With half an hour to go, we need something big here. Let's go and push forward. See if we can nick an equaliser. As it's a free kick on the right-hand side. Williams, the subs, takes it. Good delivery. Andrew knocks down for Jones. Can the two subs combine? It's all the way back to Lloyd. And the attack's just sort of petering out there. Can we get it back in the attacking zone? Here's Weaver on the left-hand side to Brooks, to Lloyd. There's an overlap again. Brooks finds Williams. There's a man out on the left. Through ball to Andrew. The referee's flag stays down, or the assistant, sorry. And Elliot Andrew, the sub, has done the job. We said he's been in better form than Dean this season. And he's proven it yet again. Goals galore from Elliot Andrew. And now we've got a free kick. Can we open the floodgates? Price gets on the end of it. Heads just over. It's all Bangor City now. We're back on top. Can we get that second goal? It would take us top of the group. It would take us 4 clear. And a win against Sarajevo on the final day. We wouldn't even have to worry about Club Brugge. As Andrew's in again. The flag's up this time, I think. In fact, the flag hasn't gone up. We're going to VAR to check. But the flag hasn't gone up. Will we get away with it? It's being checked. It's disallowed for offside. Wishful thinking, I'm afraid, on my part. It's still 1-1. 15 minutes to nick a winner. Let's go and encourage these boys. Let's try and get them confident. Fingers crossed we find a goal. Harvey Lloyd not happy with the encouragement. Everyone else loving it. It's an in-swinging corner for Daniel Williams. Andrew's up. Just wide of the post again. He is causing chaos off the bench. And if he can get one more, he'll be a hero for seasons to come. We've got just 3 minutes remaining. It's Keegan Riley on the right. An advanced throw to Andrew. 1-2 back out to the byline. Chance to cross to the back post. Nobody gets there. Weaver's at the back stick. In towards Brooks is cleared away. Harvey Lloyd recycles it from the clearance to Weaver. Chance to cross, there's 3 in the box. Instead switches to Riley, different angle, ball to Duffy, off the line by the keeper. Wonderful work to get back onto his line and claw it away. We're going to go attacking, there's 4 minutes of stoppage time. Will we get one more chance? We won't. 2 shots to Legia Warsaw on target, 9 for Bangor City. Utter dominance, 12 corners to 1. And we somehow don't manage to get that second goal. A narrow one chalked off by VAR, a poor goal to concede from a set piece. But let's not forget, we're still in control of our own destiny here. We've got the weakest opposition to come at home. We've got a big game away at Club Brugge. And we could still get through in the Europa League. At the very worst though, we should be getting 3rd in this group. We're 2 points ahead of Legia Warsaw. Crucially, we've got the better head-to-head record. We're behind Club Brugge because we lost to them, of course, but we've got a chance to rectify that. And Sarajevo on 3 points we should be beating. If we do that, they can't catch us. Doesn't matter what all the other results are. That would guarantee us 3rd. We'd be really unlucky if we went out on 10 points then, but it has happened before. We've seen it in the Europa League when we've competed at that level too. So not perfect, but good to come back and salvage a point. And it may make the difference as we get towards the end of this group. As promised though, before we go, we will look at the Welsh transfer window from the summer. I know it's belatedly, I know there's been plenty of months since, but with a single header in terms of episode, with another couple of £100,000 in the bank, it's the perfect time to reflect on that. With 3 points clear in the title race, we're dominating in terms of goal difference. So let's look at what our opposition have been doing. Are they improving the standard of this nation, or is it going to remain a 2 or 3 horse race? So interestingly, a few domestic loan deals actually since the window shut. One of those was our young player Warren Bell, a centre midfielder who's gone to Colwyn Bay. Now of course I am looking to them a little bit, purely because of the experiment that we did over the last few weeks. In that one, Colwyn Bay became the stars of the nation. They have come from the English League, they've got a little bit of reputation about them, but here they're a bit of a yo-yo club. At the moment they're in 8th place, they're a few points clear. We'd like them to stay up, because I feel they're one of those sides that could improve with time. Darrell Edwards, their key player, isn't very good, which probably shows you why they're struggling. I wonder what their manager's like actually. Gwynfor Owen, not the worst. He's good at working with youngsters and that could be beneficial for them. But you can see why they're not quite so good in this one. In terms of the summer window we're reflecting on though, a lot of deadline day deals. TNS loaned a player out to Dover, which was bizarre in itself. Not sure why he's not good enough for TNS. He looks a very solid player. Airbus bought one in from Swansea and he was a key player from them. Played a key role in a game where they beat us at our place as well. Counter-attacking pace on the wing and a decent player. Not an all-rounded player, but in the key areas he's got fantastic attributes. In terms of the rest though, some big ones going on free agent deals. Callum Pearson to Swansea Uni. Not the best player, but a more experienced one and one that's played elsewhere. So that was a positive sign. They did the same with Lewis Veal, who'd been at Cardiff Met Uni before. Really improving the standard, particularly as an amateur side as well. Blake Nichols went on a free to Aberystwyth. Not great technically, but the rest of his game, mentally and physically, is a superstar. So he's a positive one too. Of course, we lost Callum Maguire to Colchester. Ryan Harrington, an experienced centre-half, went to Cardiff Met Uni. Another one to the amateur side. And another good experienced body there. But then perhaps more impressively towards the end of the window, we're seeing loan deals from big EFL clubs and big Football League clubs in England to the Welsh Premier League. We're not just talking about the Swanseas and the Cardiffs and the Wrexhams, the sides we used to. We're talking about big sides from, in Norwich's case, the east of the country, from Coventry, the Midlands, from Wolves, the West Midlands. Not the clubs you traditionally see at the start of the save. There's a Burnley one there as well. So Matthew De Silva from Burnley to Barry is a really good left back. Proper quality player. They're contributing £750 a week in wages as well, which is a big difference too. He's actually had a good start to the season there, albeit the personality's not great. Mike Andrews from Norwich to TNS on loan. Another good one, 2.5 star by our standards. That's as good as Archie Woods, that's as good as Cannell, Williams, the likes. Really aggressive, really good footballer. And you can see his average rating, nearly 7.2 already this season for TNS. The other ones in that star group, Peter Wakeham, who went from Wolves to Carmarthen. Welsh 18-year-old. That's got to be the best player Carmarthen have had on loan or from a signing. They bought through a couple of good ones. He's not actually played well there. I wonder if they're utilising his role properly. But really good to see him, a player like that, coming from Wolves to the Welsh Premier League. And the final one in that group from Coventry to Colwyn Bay is Joshua Delaney. Again, maybe not so good across the board, but his core attributes, you can see the technical ones that matter, the determination and the physical stats, particularly the pace and agility, right up there with anything in the league. And you can see 3 goals and an assist in 11 games. It's made a big difference to them. From bottom to 8th, that could be the one that did it. For the rest of the window though, maybe a little bit quieter this summer. I guess because TNS got poor draw in Europe, as did Barrytown United. They were out a little earlier. So it made it a bit harder to have that lure to get those players in. But for next summer, if they get a luckier draw, if we continue to improve the coefficient, fingers crossed that will improve. So that's a look at the Welsh Premier League. It is gradually improving. Maybe not at the same pace we'd like. But as the reputation of the league goes up, if we can overtake another 5 or so this year, where are we? In 60th place at the minute? If we can maybe go up another 5, catch up with the Irish Premiership, the Scottish Championship, it opens up a whole new world for signings. And that's what we've got to be looking towards moving forward. If we have a look at the schedule though, for when we're next going to be back, I think there's only one game we can pick. Sarajevo at home in the Europa League final group game. We'll get through Club Brugge. We'll hopefully get through Queen's Park in the SPFL Trust Trophy. And we'll get through Barrytown in the league as well. We've got Aberystwyth with the bogey side, Colwyn Bay on TV. There are some really big games coming up there. But as we get to the final game of the Europa League, particularly with our game before being away at Club Brugge, I feel the final day might be crucial. So that's what we're going to come back for. I hope you're looking forward to it. If you are, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. Touch wood, it'll be a positive performance with Greg Pringle back in the side. But let me know in the comments what you think of what we've seen today. Pleased to see Kenny Jackett as Director of Football. And what do you think of the club off the pitch? Are we making the right strides? Are you impressed with the Welsh Premier League transfer window? Or would you say maybe not enough at this point? If you want to stay up to date and find out how the season progresses, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. You'll get alerts as daily videos released from 2 long-term stories, as well as some special other bits on the channel too. You can catch up with all of those playlists and odd videos in the eye above. And there's a link to the Twitch channel in the description below. A massive thank you to everyone who's helped us reach affiliate and to those that have already subscribed and supported the channel too. It does make a massive difference and I can't thank you enough for it. But I'll see you next time. Sarajevo at home, a crucial game in the Europa League. And I asked the same question as the last episode. We're no closer to knowing. Will it be Europa League, Europa Conference, or crashing out of Europe? Hopefully the latter will be impossible by then. But we'll wait and find out. I'll see you next time. See if we can do it. Youth Intake Preview 2. Plenty to be excited about. I'll see you there.